Greetings, I'm Barrett, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. We are continuing our playthrough of This War of Mine. Now, this game might not be for children. Warning at the bottom, we're moving into the scavenging phase. I've got nothing left to say except roll the intro.
Like a shooting star it came, the denizens remain calling up. The soul in the western sky came a never-ending light. They swallowed up the night and turned their hopeless eyes to sky. Save one, and she walked so slow. She felt the world go and spoke her final words.
We're going to go ahead and take 14 cards from our exploration deck. We're just going to mix them up a little bit. There we go. And we're going to take 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You might think that's a lot of cards, but you'll be amazed at how fast you go through these cards. So we've put them face down in the unknown space. Now that we've done that, we're going to start resolving them one at a time. So our first exploration card is Search the Pantry. It starts up at top. You may ignore this card. Well, spoiler alert, we're not going to be ignoring this card. Or Search the Pantry. You can return 2 exploration cards or raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. So returning 2 exploration cards would be like symbolizing you moving a little bit more quiet. Or raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. This is basically rummaging through the pantry. So then once you do that, you're going to be able to draw and resolve 1 card from the Findings deck pantry chart. So we're just going to put this here for now. That's not normally where it goes, but I'm going to put that there because we're going to go ahead, and I believe the best plan here is to raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. Why not? So we're going to go ahead and raise our noise by 1, and then we're going to go ahead and roll for noise. So we need to get higher than a 2, and we got a 4, so we're just fine. Now our card states draw and resolve 1 card from the Findings deck pantry chart. So we're going to go ahead and take our Findings cards, mix them up a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and draw a card. We'll draw this one right here. And this card, we're going to then look under the pantry. What do we find? Pantry. We found moonshine, vegetable, sugar, and we get to roll 1 dice. Well, it's not the greatest, but you know what? We'll take it. So let's go gather our stuff. So we have gained a sugar, vegetable, and moonshine. We're going to place those up here next to our shovel in the Findings pile. Then it shows that we have to roll a black die. So we're going to go ahead and roll our die. I got a 1. And if we look at our card on the ruined villa, it says 1 to 4, nothing. So that was terrible. Well, it wasn't the best way to start. Well, the worst way to start would have been just to be dead. We're not dead. We're doing fine. We're then going to go ahead and shuffle this back into our Findings deck. And we're going to continue on by moving this into the discard space. Now we can choose to continue at any or end at any time, but I don't think we're going to. We're going to keep going. We found rubble. It says here, map card. Check the current location card for rubble. If there is no rubble, discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. If there is rubble, you may resolve this card immediately or place it on the exploration slot and resolve it later instead of drawing a new exploration card. So we're going to go ahead and probably take care of this because we have a shovel. It says dig through, requires a shovel. Return 1 exploration card, raise the noise by 1, roll for noise. After digging through, add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. Oh, that's really good. Draw and resolve 2 finding cards from the heap. Oh, this is going to be just fantastic. All right, then discard this rubble card. All right, we're going to do that. We are going to return 1 exploration card. So to return an exploration card, you just take the top one, place it back over here. Then we're going to raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. Our noise is now going to be 3, and we're going to roll our black die. Oh no, we got a 1. Oh, that's terrible. So we're going to lower our noise back down to 1, and we're going to draw a resident card. So we're going to pick up our resident deck. I'm going to give it one little quick shuffle here. And apparently while we were digging around, somebody heard us with our shovel and wants to come and check it out. Let's see what resident we found. We found civilians. It says here, it turns out that there are miserable looking people hiding in here. Mostly the elderly, women, and children. Place this card on the exploration slot. Until you leave this location, whenever you take anything from an exploration card marked private, roll the black die and compare the result with the empathy of each character present. A result equal to or less than the character's empathy raises their misery by 1. Oh no, this is really bad. You may take one exploration card to talk to them, or I can trade with them as well. At the end of the scavenging, shuffle this card back into the resident deck. Oh no, this is really bad. Okay, so as you can tell by this card over here, it said private. So if we actually decided to raid the pantry, we've already done it, so it doesn't matter. But if we do it again in the future, if we find any cards with this word on it, oh man, we're going to have to roll our empathy. And if we fail the empathy roll, we're going to have to raise our misery by 1. Oh, that's horrible. Well, I get to add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wish there was a way to get rid of the civilians. Maybe if I talk to them, they'll go away. Well, we'll get to that. Now it says we also get to draw and resolve 2 finding cards from the heap chart. So we're going to go ahead and take our findings deck, give another quick little shuffle here and there, and we're going to draw our first card for our heap deck. Heap says mechanical part, shell, weapon part, and a roll on the die. So we're going to take our weapon part, shell, and mechanical part, put them up in our findings pile, and we're going to roll our die and see what we get from our heap here. Oh, we got a 10! The 10, according to our Ruined Villa card, is a knife. Oh, that's really good. All right, we've got our first weapon. Our knife is right here. We're going to put it in our findings pile. Oh, that was really good. All right, now let's go ahead and draw our next finding cards. I'm not sure if I shuffle this back in before I draw my second one because this is all on one card. I'm going to go not. We're just going to go with this. If I'm wrong, go ahead and let me know. We found a book, 2 mechanical parts, and we get to roll a die again. All right, well, I'm just going to roll the die first. Then we're going to gather everything. An 8. Oh, what's the 8? According to our Villa card, Villa, I'm gonna pronounce this about 32 different ways. I apologize. All right, it says raw food. I like raw food. We're gonna go get a raw food. So I've got our 2 mechanical parts, our raw food, and our book. We're gonna go again put these in our findings pile, which is getting really big. I'm then gonna go ahead and shuffle these 2 back into the findings deck, and we're going to discard this card. And we're going to continue exploring, though I really kind of wonder if I should talk to them. I'm going to return an exploration card and we're going to talk to them. So we're going to go see number 123. So one thing that's really neat about this game that Awakened Realms did is they created an app. So as you can see, here's the app. And all you have to do is you just type in the number of what you're going to be going to, and then you can read it straight from there instead of going through that book of scripts. Now, it is kind of neat to hold the book, but the app is also really convenient. So let's go to 123. We rest sitting on some rubble. Sometimes you need to sit quietly for some time before you finally feel like talking again. Roll the black die. All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll our black die. We got a 6. So let's go consult the app. Our Book of Scripts Act tells us to go to 1,204. So let's go punch that number in. We now know who's who in this company. They all lost their plans and previous lives and turned into shadows of their former selves. The only goal is survival. And their future after the war? We'll worry about that when we find out if we actually have a future. We also take the time to listen out for whoever else we might encounter in the area. Take a look at the top card from the Residence deck. Oh, that'll actually be pretty good. And then it says back to the game. So we get to go ahead and look at the top card of our Resident deck. So we got a peek into the future. It says homeless. A wreck of a human being begs you for some food. If you give him, by discarding from the findings pile, green, yellow tokens with a total value of 5 or more, roll the black die and compare the result with the empathy of each character present. Result equal to or less than the character's empathy, you get to lower your misery by 1, which, oh, that's not going to be too bad. If you do not give him any tokens and you have them in the findings pile, roll the black die and compare the result with the empathy of each character present. As a result equal to or less than the character's empathy, you raise their misery by 1. And afterwards, oh, we have to remove this card from the game, so we're never going to see it again. Okay, that's good. At least we have an idea of what's coming. And actually, if we can get enough food or medicine to give them, we could maybe counterbalance the civilian card if we take some stuff from the private section here. All right. Now that we know about our resident, let's go ahead and move to our exploration. We're going to continue on and see what we find. Climb up. Look for another way. Return 3 exploration cards. Or climb. Roll the gray combat die for each character scavenging. Characters may use their prowess to re-roll to determine how many wounds they suffered. Oh, we're not going to suffer any wounds. No. We're going to discard that card, and it says we can return 3 exploration cards. So we're going to return these exploration cards, 1, 2, 3, to the exploration deck. And now we're going to go and continue on. We have a lot of cards in here, so I'm not too worried. Our next one. Oh, it says you may ignore this card or search the furniture. And look, we're in luck. There's no private word up here, so this one is fully usable. It says return 2 exploration cards or raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. 2, draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck furniture chart. That sounds like a plan. Let's raise the noise and roll. So we're going to raise the noise to 2, and then we're going to roll our die. If we get a 1 or 2, we have to go ahead and resolve something. 7, we do not find our homeless. Now we're going to go ahead and draw a findings card. So let's give these a quick little shuffle here. Throw that one in there as well. And let's see what we get from our furniture. We'll draw the top card. And we found, a lot of neat stuff. A herb, a weapon part, and mechanical parts. I was really hoping for something we can use to trade. But, I guess I could use these. All right, we also get to roll our die. So let's go ahead and do that as well. So we're going to go ahead and roll it right here. We got a 7. So if we look at our ruined villa, 7 is a mechanical part. Oh, I think we're just loaded with mechanical parts. So we're going to go ahead and take our mechanical part, weapon part, and herb. Now, if you notice, we were supposed to have 2 mechanical parts. We're out of mechanical parts. We found them all. So I can't actually take any more. You can't create tokens. So what you see is what you get. So we're going to put those in our findings pile. We're going to shuffle this back into our findings deck. And we're going to put this into our discard pile and draw our next exploration card. And it is Basement Entrance. It says, check the current location card for basement entrance. If there is no basement entrance, discard this card and draw a new card from the exploration deck. If there is a basement entrance, you may resolve this card immediately or place it on the exploration slot and resolve it later instead of drawing a new exploration card. All right, well, there is a basement entrance here in the ruined villa. Basement entrance says enter. Raise the noise by 3 and roll. And after entering, add 5 cards from the exploration deck to the unknown deck. Also, you may discard this card during this scavenging to draw and resolve 2 finding cards instead of 1. Oh, we're totally doing this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and raise the noise by 3 and roll for noise because we already know when we do that, it's not going to be the end of the world. We're just going to find a homeless guy. So raising our noise by 3, 1, 2, 3, brings it to a 5. We have to roll a 6 or better on this die to not meet our homeless. Oh, we got a 3. All right, so we're going to meet a resident. So we already know who our resident is, but let's go ahead and take a look. It's our homeless. We can give him some food. It says we have to discard green and yellow tokens with a total value of 5 or more. So let's see what we have. So the tokens we have is 1, we have raw food. He's not getting our raw food, that's for sure. We also have a vegetable. That's 5. We could give that to him, but we're not going to. I want to eat that. We're going to give him some of this. We don't need any of this, really. We're going to give up, I think, our moonshine and our sugar. That's going to total 6, which is too much, but I'd rather do that than give up our vegetable. And we're going to keep our herb. So we're going to discard these 2 to our homeless. And then we're going to have to remove this card from the game. We're then going to bring our noise back down to 1. Now, if we continue resolving our basement card, we're going to add 5 cards to the unknown deck, and we're going to hold on to this because we can use this to draw 2 findings instead of 1. So we're going to add 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to continue exploring. Our card is search the heap. Oh, and it's not a private card again. You may ignore this card or search the heap. Return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 1. Or raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. To draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck heap chart. All right. We have 2 options here, and if we could raise the noise just on its own and keep going, but now remember, we don't know what our next resident is. We knew that we had the homeless coming up. This one, so I can either raise the noise and roll, or return 2 exploration cards and just roll for and raise the noise. I think we're going to go ahead, raise the noise, and roll for noise. So we're going to raise the noise to 2 and roll. Let's see how it goes. 10. All right, we're good. We don't have to worry about any residents. Now at this point, I could go ahead and use this card to draw 2 from the findings deck, but I'm not too sure of getting anything really good from the heap. I'm waiting for something like a pantry or something from here, because we could maybe find more food that way. So we're going to shuffle up our findings deck, and we're going to grab 1 card and resolve the heap. And what do we find? We found a book, a mechanical, is that 2 mechanical parts? We don't have any more mechanical parts we could find. So all we really found from here was a book, and we get to roll 1 die from the special findings. All right, let's see what we get. A 7. And of course, our continued luck of mechanical parts is on the roll here. So again, we're not going to gain anything from that. So really all we got was a book. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put our book into our findings pile and continue exploring. That was an absolutely terrible exploration. All right, we found a door. Peek through the keyhole. Return 1 exploration card to look at the next card from the unknown deck. Or raise the noise by 1. Or roll for noise. I think we're just going to go ahead and roll for noise. Our noise right now is a 2. So we're going to go ahead and roll. We need a 3 or better. We got a 9, so we're doing just fine. We're going to continue exploring. Our next card is Poke About. You may ignore this card or poke about. Return 1 exploration card or roll for noise. To choose 1 findings from the special findings chart for this location. Oh, this is awesome. All right, we are totally just going to roll for noise here. And again, I just need a 3 or better. And we got a 7, so we're just fine. So let's go ahead and look at our ruined villa. We can choose anything from our special findings. So we can either take a knife, raw food, mechanical part, or book. Guess what we're not taking? Yeah, you're right, a mechanical part. Actually, I'm going to grab some raw food. That's going to be awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 1 raw food. Now we only have 2 left that we can actually gain, but we were able to get this one. I'm going to put that in the findings pile. All right, we're going to continue exploring. I forgot to discard this. We're going to put that over there. Let's go on our exploration. Stairs down. Look for another way. Return 3 exploration cards or enter. Raise the noise by 3 and roll for noise. Oh, wow. That's going to be a tough one here. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm actually just going to get rid of 3 cards. I'm going to return them over here to the exploration deck because I don't want that noise to get any harder. I don't know who is there. We're going to go ahead and explore. Hiding place. Return 2 exploration cards to save it and use it at any time during the scavenging phase. After rolling for noise, you may discard this card to ignore an encounter, do not draw a resident card, or perform a backstab. See the journal. The backstab means you get kind of a free attack against anybody that you've found. I think we are going to go ahead and return 2 exploration cards. I know we're running out of cards here now. That was kind of a, I wonder if I should have just gone down the stairs. All right, we're going to continue. Come on, I want to find something. I found a hideout. You may ignore this card. Return as many exploration cards as you wish to lower the noise by that amount. No, we're not going to do that. We're fine. I'm going to ignore that card. Next one. Oh, here we go. We got search the heap, but this one's private, so this one's going to be kind of, Return 2 exploration cards. You may ignore this card, it says. And I think that's what we might do. Return 2 exploration cards to raise the noise by 1. Raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise in order to draw and resolve 1 card from the heap finding deck. How many cards do we have left? We have 2. All right, so we do need to potentially, I might need 1 in order to trade with him. So we're going to research one more time. Come on, I really need something good. Come on, pantry. Search the heap. Okay, this is going to be okay. You may ignore this card or search the heap, which is what we're going to do. And it's not private, so we're okay. return 2 exploration cards, we're not going to do that, or raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. To draw and resolve 1 card from the findings pile. We're going to do that. We're going to raise our noise to 3, and then we're going to go ahead and roll. I need a 4 or better. I got a 4, just barely. Oofta! All right, we didn't actually run into any resonance. That's fantastic. Now we get to draw and resolve 1 card from the findings deck heap chart. So we're going to go ahead and take our findings deck, shuffle it up, and we're actually going to go ahead and use our basement entrance card now. That allows us to, during your scavenging, to draw and resolve 2 finding cards instead of 1. Now it's just the heap. I was really hoping for a pantry card at some point to maybe get some food, but we didn't get that. So we're going to draw and resolve 2 findings card. Our first one is, we found a ammo, a chem, and then we're going to roll on our special findings. So let's see what we get from our special findings. We got a 6. I'm not even going to bring the card up here. It's a mechanical part again. All right, we're going to go ahead and put that here. We get to resolve 1 more heap card. Come on, not mechanical parts. Oh, it's that one with 2 mechanical parts again. And we got a book. All right, I'll grab our book. And then we do get to roll from our special findings. Let's see what we find. A 10! All right, a 10 is another knife. So we're going to go ahead and claim all of this. We've got a knife, we've got a book, we've got a chem, and we've got ammo. Oh, that's going to be awesome. All right, we're going to put all this in the findings pile. We're going to go ahead and put these back with our findings deck, and we're then going to use our last exploration card to go ahead and trade with these civilians. So we're going to see number 993. So if we type in 993, it says, you may buy any of these tokens. See Journal Trade Sheet. Red, any broken weapon, ammo, or weapon parts. Yellow, herbal meds, herbs, chems. Gray, books, mechanical parts, electrical parts, saw blade, shovel. Green, coffee, sugar, cigarettes, moonshine. And the trade commission is 0, which means we don't have to actually add extra in order to become able to trade with these people. So let's go ahead and take a look at our findings pile and see if there's anything we might want. All right, so here's everything so far we've found in our findings pile, which is really awesome. Of course, we brought the shovel with us. But we have 2 knives, a herb, a chem, a vegetable, 2 raw food, 3 books, 4 mechanical parts, 2 weapon parts, a shell, and an ammo. All right, so we could trade any of these we want with the civilians. Now, each one of these, of course, with the little symbol means that these are going to weigh something to carry back. And we can only carry 9 weight back. It doesn't mean we can only carry 9 things. We can only carry 9 weight back. And right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a lot of weight. We're actually, I think, going to sell off a lot of this weight. I'm going to keep most of our stuff because we really don't need a lot. I was really hoping they'd have food, but they don't. So we're actually going to gain a saw blade, some cigarettes. I know, what do I need cigarettes for? And also some coffee. Well, the reason I need cigarettes and coffee is some of our characters, when we go to test our spirit, they're going to have to need to use one of these or they may become miserable. So if we add this up, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to give them our weapon parts and mechanical parts. And we're going to go ahead and take our saw blade and cigarettes and coffee. Now that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weight. Now you're saying, but you could still hold 3 more. Why'd you sell off those parts? Because if you notice, during our findings, we're never able to, they don't ever give us wood, components, or water. After we're done here on our way back, we're able to gather as many of those as we want, but they each weigh 1. So I'm actually planning to take back 3 water with us when we're all done here. And that's going to conclude our trading with the civilians. Now that our unknown deck is depleted, we're going to move into our choose findings stage. Now we've kind of already discussed it when I did the trade, but I'm just going to quickly read through the rules. Once you finish the exploration, shuffle all exploration and residence cards into their decks. At this moment, you may add as many resources, water, components, and wood to the findings pile as you wish. You can bring back a total weight of tokens resources, including the equipment and weapons you brought with you, equal to the total inventory of all characters taking part in the scavenging. The weight of heavy tokens is shown with the weight icon. If the token does not have a weight icon, its total weight is 0. Each one resource, water, wood component weighs 1. Everything you cannot carry, you have to leave behind is discarded. Characters, with their findings, will make their way back to the shelter in the dawn phase. Before that, the night raid occurs. We're going to, again, if you were playing with more than one player, you would then pass this to the next person who would take part in the night raid. Now, if you look at our characters, they have 9 total inventory that they can carry. Now, again, like I said, that doesn't mean it's only 9 things. It's 9 weight. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in weight. So then I'm also going to take back 1, 2, 3 water with us as well. And our scavenging turn is done. I think we did really good. We got some good food, we got some weapons, and we are going to be able to take on a lot of stuff that is back in our house that we need to deal with. I'm excited for that saw blade. Meanwhile, in the shelter, someone came in the night to steal our belongings. Night raid! Choose weapons for the guards. If you possess any weaponry in the storage, you may wish to give them to the guards by placing the weapon token on the guard space, and each character may only wield one weapon. Well, we don't have any weapons yet. We're bringing some back, but we don't have any yet. Now, before we go ahead and read all this stuff, we're going to resolve our night raid card. Now, I've gone ahead and cleaned this area up. I put all our cards back into the proper decks. Now, I wanted to bring your attention to the Heart of the City deck. It's a deck of cards that we could go through, but we're only able to do that each time after we have finished scavenging, but before the choose finding stage. So since we've already gone past that, and also being the first turn, I wanted to demonstrate how this game normally works without really adding too much to it. Starting from the next turn on, we might be going to the Heart of the City to see what happens. I just wanted you to be aware of these cards. Now we're going to go ahead and turn over our Night Raid card. Let's see what it is. Hobos, damage 3. Any 3 tokens, resources, starting with the most expensive. Wounds, 0. Okay, so we're not going to be wounded by this, but we do have to discard 3 tokens or resources, starting with the most expensive. And then once we are done with that, it says on the bottom, remove this card from the game. So once the hobos come, they're never coming again. Now that we've drawn our card, let's go ahead and talk about this. Guards and weapons. Roll a combat die corresponding with the weapon used for each character on the guard space. They have white, which means you have no weapon, which is kind of where we are. Now, I want you to be understanding that white combat die, they're actually gray in this game. They're not white, but that's okay. We also have yellow, which is going to be for a knife or hatchet, and red is for any of our firearms. The number of icons shown on the rolled die indicates the amount that you subtract from suffered damage or wounds. It's our choice. Now, using weapons during the night raid actually gives you a little bit more of an advantage because these dice are a little bit better than that gray die. But of course, if you use a pistol or an assault rifle, you're going to have to go ahead and discard an ammo before you use it. And the assault rifle actually allows you to discard 2 ammo tokens instead of 1 to make 2 shots. Now, if we had a shotgun, which would be pretty sweet, the ammo token must be discarded. And if you get this little bullet symbol here, it ignores the night raid card completely. Oh, that's absolutely awesome. I really want to get my hands on a shotgun. Also, if you have a hatchet and you roll the hatchet icon on the yellow die, you also ignore a night raid card currently in play. Again, absolutely an awesome thing. So we want to find ourselves a hatchet or a shotgun if we really want a chance at not worrying about night raids. And of course, if you're not using a shotgun or a hatchet and you roll those symbols, it's considered a miss. Now remember that prowess stat I talked about? Well, you can use it during the night raid. The prowess value determines the number of re-rolls a character may perform during a night raid in order to get a better result. A character does not need to use all their re-rolls, but the last roll is considered to be final. And if we had any board-ups, which I really wish we did, it is going to be able to subtract either a wound or damage from the night raid card. We're then going to continue to the next page. Now sadly, we don't have any weapons, so we're just going to go ahead and roll our gray die. And as you can see, there's not a lot going on this die. All right, let's see what we get. Oh, we got absolutely nothing. So we're going to have to go ahead and destroy 3 tokens, starting with the most expensive. All right, good news, bad news. We have to destroy the tokens before we bring our cards back from the findings. Bad news is we have to destroy 3 tokens. So we're going to have to get rid of our electrical part because it is the most expensive. Now, these are all worth 1, and I don't really know which ones are better. According to the way it works, I know one of our goals is board up, so we need wood, and we don't only need 1 component for that, but I think we're going to get rid of 1 of each. I think that's going to be our best bet. Probably not, but we're going to give it a shot. With the hobos resolved, we're going to go ahead and remove this card from the game. Moving on, it says, with each passing night, the situation's getting more grim. Crime wave! During setup, Night Raid and Resident cards with the red corner were set aside. If there are any of these cards left, shuffle 2 in any combination, Night Raid or Residents, into the corresponding decks without looking at their fronts. And again, then we're going to pass this to the next player into the Dawn phase. All right, so we have to decide how many of which we want to put in there. We can put 2 Night Raid, 2 Residents, or 1 of each. I think we're going to go 1 of each. We're going to grab 1 Night Raid and 1 Resident card and go ahead and shuffle those in. We're going to set these aside, and we'll probably be putting them in as we continue. We have made it into the Dawn. It says, another day of survival, we must not give up. Dawn. The scavenging party returns. Move all the characters in the scavenging party into the shelter and place all the tokens and resources they brought back into the storage. At this time, we're also going to assign med and bandages. If there are any meds, herbal meds, bandages in the storage, you may assign them to ill or wounded by placing them on the chosen character card. We don't have any of that to deal with. Nobody is sick and nobody is wounded. Once we're done with that, we're going to draw a fate card. Draw and resolve 1 fate card. Ignore the bottom part marked with a die. That's used for something else in the game. When a fate card tells you to exchange a location card, remove that card from the game. Then slide the remaining location cards down so that the far space is empty. Finally, draw a new location card from the location deck and place it in the far space. We're then going to pass it to the next player if we were playing with more than 1 person, and that person is going to draw 2 narrative action cards, read them, choose 1, and shuffle the other back into the deck. Then we're going to pass the book to the next player. So we're going to go ahead and return both Boris and Katya to our guard space, and they're going to be ready for the next day. Our little girl's going to come over here too and say hi to them. And then we're going to put all of our stuff in here. We got 2 knives, a saw blade, a shovel, 2 raw food, a vegetable, a chem and an herb, 3 books, 3 cigarettes, 2 coffee, an ammo, a shell, and we also got a mechanical part and 3 water. 1, 2, 3. I think we did pretty good on that scavenging phase. We bought back a lot of stuff. Now we're going to go ahead and take our first fate card. Let's take a look at this card. It says, we start at the top. It says, raise the wounds of all characters unbandaged by 1. It then says, lower illness of all characters who took meds by 2. Well, we're not going to have to deal with any of those. It does say then, discard med tokens from all characters. Now, here's the kicker. If cold tokens minus board ups equal 5 or more, raise the illness by all characters by 1. We're in luck. We don't have any board ups, but the cold is only 3. So it's not 5. It does say exchange the nearest small location, resolve any weight tokens, which we don't have any, and it does say resolve Spirit A. Here's that spirit we were talking about earlier. It does come into play here. We're going to resolve Spirit A on all characters. Afterwards, shuffle this card back into the Fate deck. So the only 2 things we have to deal with is resolving Spirit A and exchanging the nearest small location. So if we look at Spirit A on Anton, it says, if there's at least 1 book in the storage, lower Anton's misery by 1 if he is miserable, and raise his fatigue by 1. Well, there is a book in sadly, it's in our storage. So he is going to sit and read, and he's going to gain 1 fatigue and lower his misery by 1. Well, he's not miserable, so sadly, he's just going to gain 1 fatigue. Thanks, Anton, that's awesome. Next, we have Boris. His Spirit A says, if Boris is fatigued 2 or 3, raise his misery by 1. Good work, Boris. Nothing happened to you. Lastly, we've got Spirit A habit. Discard 1 coffee from storage or raise Katya's misery by 1. This is why we decided to grab some coffee. So we're going to go ahead and discard 1 of our coffee so that she does not gain any misery. Because of our fate card, we're going to have to raise his fatigue to 2 if we're sitting around reading a, oh no, look at this. He goes to 2. So he's only able to do 1 action during the day phase unless I have a way of getting rid of that fatigue. We're also going to have to exchange the nearest small location. So our nearest small location, if we look at the bottom card here, It says small right here. So it's going to be our ruined villa. It's our closest one. These two are also medium, so they don't actually meet the criteria. Now, if I had only medium cards here, it would be a different situation. But since we did have a small location, we're going to add a new one far away. It's a shelled school. Let's quickly take a look at it because we've looked at our other ones. This one has rubble, basement entrance, and a jammed door. And our special findings are shells, chems, electrical parts, and bandages. Oh, if we get wounded, this is a pretty good place to go. All right, we're going to go ahead and leave that up there, and we're going to move into our next phase. Now, the next phase is we're going to go ahead and grab 2 narrative action cards, and we're going to figure out which one we want. All right, we're going to take just the top 2, and we're going to see what they are. Our first one is, I'm going to tell you right now, these are all good. This is like the best part of the game. All right, we've got Vigilant Watch. Play during the night raid phase. Lower the damage wounds from a single night raid card by 4 tokens. Resources, wounds. Still requires at least 1 character on duty. After playing this card, remove it from the game. Oh, that one's pretty good. We could put Anton back on watch. All right, let's see. Our next narrative action could be Resourceful. Play when crafting a fitting. Ignore the requirement of one of the resource token types. Oh, that's really good. So if we had to put something with like 5 components, like for example, if we wanted to build a metal workshop, we could ignore the 5 components and just have to pay the 3 wood. Of course, that's not the fitting we have to build. I just wanted to give you an example. So those are our 2 narrative action cards that we have to choose. And I'm going to let you guys decide which one we should get. And I'll make sure to show them at the end to help you make a decision. Now, before we choose our narrative action, I just want to read this last little part. It says, let us look back on the past day. How did we do? What will we need next? What must be scavenged or traded? What should we build? And let's see what tomorrow will bring us. Start a new day, see the morning phase. And this is where we're going to stop. I'm going to need your help in just a second. Now, when we move into the morning phase, we're going to restart this whole thing. I'm no longer going to read this book, and we're going to speed this game up. During this first day, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood exactly what was going on. And I want to tell you right now, that's the whole rule book. It's a really well done rule book because you just kind of read it as you play, and all the rules are right there for you. As for which one of these narrative action cards we're going to choose, I'm going to leave that to you. Please give me your thoughts in the comments below as to which one you think would be best. Now, after you look at these cards, I also want to show you our guys one more time so you kind of know where we stand. And I'm going to put them next to our resources so you see those as well. So the way we sit right now, everybody has Hunger 1 and everybody has Fatigue 1, except of course for Anton, who decided to read a bunch of books, and he's at Fatigue 2. Our girl is sitting over here with a 2 Happiness. Now let's look at her card one more time so you know how she loses happiness. When she's not fed, she's going to get unhappy. She also gets unhappy if somebody dies or takes damage during the night raid phase, or any character gets to misery 3. So none of that has happened. So that's how she's going to get unhappy. As for the rest of our guys, we're doing pretty good here. Now here are all our resources as well. So when you're going through and deciding which one of those narrative action cards I should have, you can at least look at what we have. And don't forget, we're trying to stay fit. At the end of the chapter, all characters' hunger must be 0. And right now we do have raw food, which means we can lower 2 of our characters to 0, but we only have a vegetable. And that's only going to prevent one person from not getting more hungry, but it's not going to cure their hunger. And of course, we do probably have to feed the girl, and so we don't have a food for her, unless of course we can find a way to get one. There might be some in these cards, so as we're going through our house, we might find some, or we might need to make something. And that's it for this episode. We've made it through the first day. We're going to be going into day 2 in the next episode, but don't forget, I need your help to figure out which one of those narrative cards I need to keep in order to make it through the next day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, thumbs up, hit the bell symbol. Don't forget to subscribe. And by all means, leave anything below in the comments. I'd love to hear from everyone. And if you're ready for day 2, I need you to meet me at the table.